While most of the problems affecting Cardano ADA seem to have been swept under the carpet, Cardano supporters will still certainly want to turn the page on 2022, as the previous year saw the cryptocurrency shed a whopping 82% of its value. No one is talking about Cardano's problems at the moment, so many gazes are fixed on the upcoming bull run and how it would go a long way to influencing the progress of the network. So suspecting the potential fears, it makes sense to buy Cardano ADA now. 2 years from now, I think everyone will define me by Cardano. It actually does a thing what we have always wanted to do in cryptocurrencies, which is build a financial operating system for people who don't have one that can actually compete with the global financial system. The Cardano founder Charles Hoskinson said in October 2019. Charles Hoskinson and the development team spent a long time building the Cardano network when Shelley was launched. A new wave of decentralization greeted the ecosystem. According to Hoskinson, the launch of Shelley would bring absolute decentralization to Cardano, and once turned on, it will run like Bitcoin. This simply means that Cardano was designed to run forever without censorship or intervention. Of course, there was a horde of difficulties that invaded the network. Cardano has often been compared to a tortoise, struggling to keep up with the rapid development of other blockchain platforms. Hoskinson's response to this notion has always been that developments on Cardano were following a certain schedule. And even with the demeaning appellation, several analysts have spoken in favor of Cardano. Back in 2019, Juan Villaverde, the leader of the Weiss ratings team of analysts, said, "Cardano has always impressed us with the high quality of all the elements that contribute to a robust proof-of-stake blockchain-based ledger." The Weiss review called out the caliber of the Cardano's team and the cutting-edge nature of its research. At the time, it was the perfect moment to jump on the Cardano bandwagon. But what about now? Last year, Cardano turned 5, and Hoskinson's concluding speech established the fact that there is something worth hoping for in the Cardano ecosystem. He said, "On behalf of the IOG team, thank you all for being part of this community. Thank you all for your contributions you have made, and thank you so much for being part of the Cardano family. This truly is a labor of love, and we love what we do, and we love working with all of you. It's been a long 5 years. It's been a good 5 years, and I look forward to the next 5 years. Cheers." The next 5 years in Cardano might prove to be worth Hoskinson's claim after all, but for now, we do have a bull run to prepare for. 2021 was a high time for Bitcoin and most crypto assets following the institutional adoption and government regulatory interests. Many projects continue to invade the market as a source of affirmative influences for users and investors. However, while there are still negative events that keep investors on their toes in the crypto sector, many cannot help but question whether there would be a bull run or not. Recently, crypto analyst and trader Jason Pizzino explained in a video to his 281,000 YouTube subscribers that the king crypto Bitcoin is unlikely to revisit the 2022 lows. He said that while Bitcoin could drop further from current levels, it is likely to form a higher low rather than go below 2022 low of around $15,500. We are not completely away from the $10,000, but as the market progresses and we will potentially start to form a higher low, even though this market could fall, come back and retest 18,000. 19,000 or 20,000, that could be the higher low that we're all waiting for. For that sign of strength, the higher low is a sign of strength. According to Pizzino, expectations of Bitcoin falling to $10,000 would gradually disappear once the flagship crypto asset breaks above the August 2022 high of slightly over $25,000. Going back to these points here, Bitcoin will go to $10,000. We are still hearing that. But that will possibly and eventually fade if over the next month or two, we do get this higher low and the market breaks away, Pizzino added. However, he further noted that once those highs are broken, the show is over, and there's going to be a lot of pain for investors who are waiting for any sort of 10,000 or 12,000 or 14,000 Bitcoin, and maybe even a retest of the $15,000 mark. Those possibilities begin to fade a hell of a lot as we start to see more of these signals come in, he said. The crypto analyst stated that his bullish thesis for Bitcoin will be invalidated if the flagship digital asset drops below the $18,000 support level. Quote, "I like Bitcoin between the level of 18,000 and 22,000. I'm losing hope for the retest of 15,000. Therefore, I don't want to get greedy and wait for 15,000. So I will ladder back into the market in more of a pyramid fashion. Of course, we don't want Bitcoin to reaccumulate or start its price action back under the levels of 18,000. It is when it holds at least 18,000 and starts to work its way higher that a fresh ray of hope will shine on other cryptocurrencies, especially Cardano ADA. Cardano is an innovative blockchain project, and it also has some catalysts on the horizon, one of which is increased developer activity that could skyrocket its price. Investors who purchase the token now have the advantage of buying in at a much lower price entry point, and this increases their potential upside. Despite the overwhelming flaws, Cardano still boasts a track record of peer-reviewed, rigorously tested updates to its blockchain, which implies that so many of its concerns are just unnecessarily bloated. A new stablecoin has been launched, and from the looks of things, this development will lead to more people using the Cardano blockchain, which will further lead to an increase in the value of Cardano. This is an equally boost to Cardano's long-term value as well. Since the beginning of the year, Cardano has been gaining traction as a major player. It has become a hotly anticipated project that has already garnered a fair share of buzz, given its consensus mechanism and position as a top 10 crypto by market capitalization. However, naysayers just won't stop naysaying. There have been mixed reactions to the newly launched Djed stablecoin. Some investors are wondering if Cardano could tread the same path as Terra Luna, whose devastating collapse shook the entire crypto world last year. Terra Luna failed to live up to its hype and ultimately faltered. The previous week was a big one for Cardano, with developer Kadi announcing the launch of Djed. The launch successfully followed a salient security audit and some serious testing. The Cardano developer team is already known for taking the proper time to vet various upgrades and releases, so there's probably a lot to like about the Djed stablecoin. The ADA token price rallied roughly 5% immediately after the stablecoin came on board. Unfortunately, ADA has given up some of these gains recently. The reason for the uncertain price movement appears to be connected with concerns revolving around the recent fate of other algorithmic stablecoins. The collapse of Terra Luna is still fresh on the minds of most investors. Therefore, whether Djed will be able to correct the wrongs of Terra and become a stablecoin that can avoid losing its peg and collapsing remains to be seen. Although the recent decline seems to suggest that there is just as much confusion around this launch as there is heightened anticipation. Left up to the bulls, this decentralized stablecoin can become a big catalyst for Cardano, since it can become the foundation for other opportunities for the Cardano ecosystem. It is envisaged that about 40% of partnerships will take effect around the Djed stablecoin. These partnerships could bolster demand for ADA tokens as collateral to mint more Djed. Most definitely, the grand plans of Charles Hoskinson and the developer team hang on Cardano ADA, avoiding a spiral situation to what was seen with Terra. For many investors, this is where the volatility comes in. It's hard to predict how the Djed stablecoin will be able to perform relative to other algorithmic stablecoins that came before it. Things may have gone wrong with other stablecoins, but sometimes we can learn from the mistake of others, and it can prove to be extremely valuable. And going forward, Djed certainly ought to benefit from the secured records. Djed will not only survive in the short term, but it will also thrive in the long term, and further usher in the network into its bull run season. In the world of cryptocurrencies, speed has been acknowledged over quality, but Cardano's emphasis on quality could be the differentiating factor that leads this project's algorithmic stablecoin to success after all others have failed. So take a close look at the state of things in the Cardano network. It just makes sense to join the train now. But of course, what are your thoughts on this? Let us have them in the comments section below. We'll see you in the next video, but before then, check out our other videos to find out how Cardano is living up to the dream of being the Ethereum killer. And as always, make sure you click on the subscribe and notification buttons.